I really enjoy construction, making things with my hands. Ideas are really important, but there's something about actually physically making something with your hands that is so human. My name is Lesley Hilling. I'm an artist working predominantly with wood and found materials. I didn't train as an artist. I never went to college and studied fine art. In fact, I was a graphic designer freelance for about 30 years. And when we made that transition over to computers, I found I had a lot more time to spare, and I really wanted to make things with my hands. When I first became interested in art, I started making two-dimensional paper collages. And then I discovered the work of Joseph Cornell, who's still one of my favourite artists. And I began making box constructions with things inside them. And then after a while, the wood element of that took over. So I went on an adult education course with a wonderful teacher called Ionised, who had worked with wood all his life. And he put so much time and effort into teaching us how to do things. He loved wood and he loved working with wood. And that really fed into what I do today. I like to use solely recycled materials. A lot of the pieces I make are made entirely out of salvaged wood, stuff I get out of skips, old pianos, old furniture, old floorboards, driftwood, anything that has an evocative past to it. And then other pieces I make solely out of bits of ply, new wood that I paint, that I get from the businesses near my studio that have lots of offcuts from various things they make. I take those offcuts, piece them together, paint them, and turn them into new pieces of work. When I was a kid, my mum, she would tell me about when she was in the Royal Air Force during the war, and we used to watch a lot of old films together, like Brief Encounters, Random Harvest, and I've always had these melancholy nostalgia for that time. All my family collected things. My granddad collected stamps, cigarette cards, coins. And now I possess all of those things which feed into the work. My dad was a maintenance electrician in a factory, but he really enjoyed carpentry. He bought a fiberglass hull of a boat, which he proceeded to kit out to make little cabins in. And I found this fascinating. I was with him a lot of the time. He was working with plywood and teak, I remember, and I had little offcuts to play with. Preserving memories has always been very important to me. My own memories of my childhood, my family, my parents. So I've always collected old photographs, mementos. And this became particularly important to me when my mum developed Alzheimer's a few years ago. One of my favourite pieces is called On Longing. It's a large piece which I made shortly after my dad had died, and it's full of loss and longing for my childhood and my parents and my grandparents. I'm interested in architecture and how people make their homes individual and personal. I myself live in a housing cart with my partner Nell and a variety of dogs. And I believe that everyone should have that opportunity to have affordable rents and good quality housing. With these large wall pieces, I imagine I'm in an aeroplane flying over a city, and I can see all the infrastructure. It's an aerial view of the city with all the networks, the systems, all of the things that make living in a city possible. In fact, I live in London and I love living in the city. I think cities are the most wonderful places. And you can see the layers upon layers and upon layers of wood, and that's just how our cities are made up, with this layering over history of all the different people who have lived there, all the different cultures that have passed through and built and made up our cities.